Welcome everybody to CanHammer, your source for 40k from the Great White North. Very special battle report today, featuring the two finalists at Capital City Bloodbath 2018. We have Ridvan, aka Skari.
Hello!
Yes, all too familiar voice now these days. Because you're winning everything, Skari.
Sick of me yet? I hope so. Urien likes the pain.
And his opponent for the final round was Tim Deetlefs. Thank you, Tim, for joining us.
Hello, hello.
And so this was the final round of Capital City Bloodbath on Table 1, Round 6. You guys were basically both undefeated at this point, and this was for all the marbles, basically.
Yeah, after we playtested the exact same mission and armies last weekend.
Yeah, so you guys live pretty close together, or?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Okay.
We live in the same house.
So you guys are common opponents. You guys practice against each other, I guess.
Yes, we did. And we'd been spitballing ideas. Actually, Tim's list ended up changing, I believe, for the better after him and I had tested the list together.
Okay, interesting. Did you guys anywhere in your minds think you might end up on the top table at the end?
I was it's not something I was expecting. Be like, yeah, I'm gonna be at the top. But it's funny. Jason, one of the other local players, had predicted that it was going to be Tim and me, on the drive to the event, which was pretty cool
too.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting. When I saw your video, I was like, oh my god, he totally called it. Well, it was good. You guys actually both had pretty hard strength of schedules as well. I think you guys were top 2 out of the 3 top strength of schedules in the tournament as well. So it's not like you cruised to the end either.
Yeah, somehow. I don't know. I'd like to say thank you, Darren. That was a super smooth event. And that was probably the most relaxed I've been in that setting at a GT.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. I mean, we tried to run it smooth and make sure everybody had a good time. We just sent out some feedback surveys today because we're trying to get everybody to give us feedback, positive or negative, on the event. And we've had quite a good, more response than you normally get from online surveys. And so far the responses have been pretty positive. So that's nice to hear. And certainly some things we can improve for next year. But yeah, we try to run a good event. Certainly the biggest event we've run recently, other than CanHammer Team.
Well, considering the event effectively doubled in size from last year, I think not only were you guys able to transition appropriately in terms of terrain and space, but also with the smoothness of the event, using the tools like best coast pairings and just having everything smooth and ready to go. And it's one of, if not the best event, run wise in Canada, that supports a variety of different systems, not just 40k. You guys had a 40-person AOS event, and you guys had Batman going on as well, and a variety of different events.
Yeah, it was great.
It was awesome.
Cool. Well, let's get right to it. Before we start to talk about the game itself, why don't we start with you, Skari? Why don't you tell us what list you were running?
So I was running a Drukhari list, a mono Drukhari list, with a Coven battalion and a Cabal spearhead. The Coven was Prophets of Flesh. I ran Urien Rakoth and a Homunculus with an electrocorrosive whip as my HQs. In the troop slots, I had 2 units of 9 racks with Venom Blades. 9 simply because we were running the old ITC missions, which penalize you for taking 10-man squads.
Yep.
And 1 5-man rack unit, just stock standard for the battalion. Supporting that troop screen, I had a unit of 6 Grotesques with no upgrades, and then 2 units of 3 Talos with Haywire in every single one, and each Talos was armed with a macro scalpel and a chain flail, making them very versatile, both for anti-infantry and anti-heavy target combat. Supporting that, my Archon Skari, the Warlord, Labyrinthine Cunning, and the Writ of the Living Muse Relic, supported by 3 Disintegrated Cannon Ravagers, 1 Raider with a Disintegrator Cannon, and 2 Razor Wings. These were a recent addition to my list after the ETC. The one change I made was shoehorning them into the list for added versatility. 1 Razor Wing had Disintegrator Cannons and a Splinter Cannon. The other one had the Dark Lances and stock.
What were you running before the 2 jets?
I was running a 2nd battalion. So the Cabal was a battalion, not a spearhead. So I had more command points, and I had another Raider. I had 15 warriors, a couple of blasters, and then I had another Archon. And from playing extensively and then going to the ETC and back, I found that I wasn't really using that element of my army. Okay. And adding in the 2 Razor Wings gave me the ability to, go out and reach something on the first turn, or to send both of them against unsupported parts of the enemy army, because that's what flyers do, and they were quite good, and I love the versatility over Cablite Warriors. Yeah.
I guess Cablite Warriors basically attacks to get Battalion and Vect. Yeah. Cool. Okay. And what were you? Well, Tim, let's go through your list first, and then we'll talk about what you guys thought of this game before you actually started playing. So, Tim, what was your list?
So I had an Alatok battalion with a Farseer, a Spirit Seer, a Warlock, 3 units of 5 Rangers, and 2 Wave Serpents. That's basically just command points and -1 to hit Wave Serpents for my other stuff. And then I had a Ynnari battalion, which had Yvrain and 2 Spirit Seers, 2 units of Shining Spears, a unit of 8 Dark Reapers, 2 10-man units of Guardians, and a unit of 16 Guardians. And the Guardians were one of the changes I made after I played Ridvan the weekend before. And they helped a lot with just screening and movement blocking and whatnot. Not so much killing, which I was hoping they would do, but yeah, I think it was a change for the better.
Okay, interesting. So it's a pretty kind of, I won't say standard, but a lot of what people are running when they run Ynnari these days with the Reapers and the double Shining Spear. It's interesting how it started off as 1 Shining Spear, and then people are like, well, if 1 Shining Spear is good, let's have 2. And then some people are even running 3. I think Sparks was running 3, eh?
Yeah,
he was running 3 units, yeah.
So the reason for that is when they changed the deep striking mechanic, Shining Spears play very differently now. Before it was pretty much you put the spears on the table, cooking them, and they end the game for you by basically gutting your opponent. Now you have to more or less jump around with them and keep them safe, because you can't just deep strike and smash everything.
Yeah. Okay, so Skari, we'll go back to you. What were you most fearful of in Tim's list? Like, how did you see this? How did you see this going?
Whenever I play Ynnari, the nastiest thing that you have to deal with are the spears. They're the anchor to the list, and they will destroy any isolated unit. So going into this, knowing that Tim had 2 units of spears, if I could deal with the spears, I had a good chance. If I could not deal with the spears, they mop up my whole army.
Mm-hmm. Were you scared of his psychic stuff because you didn't have any of your own, really?
No, the Psykers are there to make the spears better.
Yeah. So
if I can get to the Psykers, that's great, and I have to kind of jump in and kill the Psykers at some point, which is why I picked Headhunter. But their purpose is to make the spears better. It's the same concept. If I can deal with the spears, then the game is a lot easier.
Okay. And Tim, what were you thinking about this matchup in terms of Skari's army?
So Ravagers are pretty much the perfect thing to kill Shining Spears with, because they do 2 damage and they get 1,000,000 shots. But Taloses and Grotesques are super hard for me to deal with. I can usually deal with 1 unit if I put everything into it, 1 of the 3 in 1 turn, which, as you'll see, I tried and failed. But yeah, that's pretty. You have to more or less just focus on 1 unit, kill it, and then try and survive after that. And the other thing about Ridvan's list is it is very favorable for these missions in the fact that everything is so hard to kill. So if he kills 1 unit, you're probably at most only going to kill one of his, which best case neither of you get kill more, but a lot of the times once you kill the Ravagers and the Plains, you won't get kill more.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you have to think about with his list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I guess what we'll do now is we'll just tee up the video here. All right, so this was mission. This was actually mission 5, but for some reason we put it as 6. But this is basically precious cargo, and so you can see we're just setting up the 4 objectives here. But so what secondaries did you pick, Skari?
So I picked Headhunter, I picked Recon. The planes really help with that sort of thing. And then with this list, I usually go into the middle of the board depending on my opponent's deployment. And from there, I can kind of spread out and take different table quarters and whatnot. I took Headhunter. There's a lot of characters in Tim's list, and I knew that, hey, I just needed to kill 4 of them out of the 6 or 7 or whatever he had. And knowing that the Tailors have fly and whatnot, I was confident that I was going to be able to jump in and hopefully take a few of them out throughout the game.
Yep.
And I believe I also picked...
I think you took old school.
Yeah, I think it was old school.
I think we both did.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard one. You know, I can usually kill at least a unit of Rangers or something for first blood, or first strike, sorry. And then if I'm trying to kill his characters, I might as well go for Warlord, because then if I can get 1 character, I get 2 points there. And then last laugh, you know, towards the end we're beating each other up pretty heftily, and all I have to kill is like a Warlock or something.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game. In retrospect, though, a safer option would have been Reaper, because he had his units of Guardians as well.
Yeah. And Tim, what did you pick?
I picked Big Game because, in theory, his vehicles are easy to kill.
Yeah. I've made that mistake too.
I picked Old School and I picked Recon for the same reasons.
Yep, yep. Scouts and Rangers and Planes, they all get you Recon pretty easily.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the video is just showing you guys deploying here. Kind of Skari's put his jets down. He's put what looks like his Talos down, and I think those are Grotesques. And then Tim's just put his Wave Serpents down and the Spears behind the building. And just finishing off deploying. Who was going to get the +1 on this one? You guys remember?
I did. I believe my list only had 9 drops.
Okay, so did you?
Yeah, Tim definitely got the +1. But here we were deploying. We had a chest clock going the whole time, and it's important to note that we were both going back and forth. And Tim was definitely a lot more efficient on the deployment than I was.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of infiltrating units, so you could just bounce it back to me really quickly.
Yeah. Well, actually, you guys put it in a good spot. We can see the clock on the video. So.
Yeah.
All right, so just finishing deploying here.
Well, this is first turn now.
Oh, this is first turn.
You can see me kind of move up, and I'm just extending to get objectives and kind of zoning out the back of the board, but keeping my characters relatively safe in a bubble of meat.
So who won the roll-off?
Tim did, and he made me go first.
Okay, so Tim, you deployed conservatively with the intention of giving...
And so did Ridvan.
Okay.
Yeah, we both deployed very, very safely.
You were each going to give the other person first turn if you won the roll?
Pretty much. Like, I don't mind taking first turn, but I was okay taking second as well.
Okay. So you're just kind of pushing up the middle with your big blob of really hard to kill stuff. Keeping zoned
with the
out.
Vexor Mask right in the middle.
Yeah.
If he charges anything in that blob with the spears, they don't get to attack until I've attacked them.
Yeah, and that's
so they
basically
usually they usually die horrible death. I did move my jets up. I was able to get a bead on those shining spears, and I shot them with a few disintegrators, but didn't do damage. I was kind of hoping to kill a couple of them just to kind of make the unit less scary.
Is that both your Shining Spear units in the middle there, Tim, at the bottom? Or?
No, I spent 3
one?
command points to deep strike 1 unit and my big unit of Guardians.
Oh, okay. Were you concerned about not having anywhere to deep strike them in?
Yes and no. I knew he was going to be coming for me, so backup plan, deep strike them in my deployment zone, go for late game.
Yeah. All right, so now it looks like Tim's turn. You
Yeah,
killed
so in
a
my
ranger
turn,
unit.
I killed a ranger unit, and I basically had to use all my Ravagers to do it, essentially.
Okay.
So this is Tim's movement, I think, Tim?
Yeah. I was just getting the Dark Reapers out of the Wave Serpent to hopefully kill 2 Ravagers.
Two Ravagers with
spears.
soul bursting Reapers.
Double shooting.
Yeah.
Correct. The spears, gonna go try and kill the Razor Wing. So I'd set it up to get myself recon, first strike.
That moment right there, though, I just want to note that when you moved your Wave Serpent up, that was like a key element of your next turn strategy.
It was. So that Wave Serpent was getting me recon, and it was drawing hopefully one of his units of Talos to that side away from the mask, so I could debuff them and charge them safely, and in theory kill them with Shining Spears.
Yep. So that looks like you just made a charge in there, or?
I quickened them to get super close to it, and then I shot them. I believe this is my psychic phase now. I'm shooting Dark Reapers at the Ravager, I think. And I did basically nothing.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you did like 3 wounds in 2 shooting phases against. Yeah. I mean, 6 wounds. 6 wounds in 2 shooting phases against 1 Ravager.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Was that just bad dice or good saves?
Or it was a combination. I think. Yeah,
combination. It was like he got like 4 in, and then I'd make 3 5-ups or something. You know, like it was no doom and no guide on the Reapers made the misses that he did have like sting.
Yeah. So was that something that you had? I mean, you said that you wanted to kill 2 Ravagers. So did that put like a big dent in your plan, basically?
More or less, it just made. See, my strategy, I think it was a good strategy, but I don't think it was the best strategy in hindsight. In reality, I should have just moved those spears, done what I'm doing right now, killed the Razor Wing, and then still soul bursted back into my deployment zone, but then gone for the Ravagers with them. Because once you get rid of them, Ridvan can't really come back, because then his Taloses and Grotesques or whatever he wants to send backwards will be isolated, and it's easier to deal with 2 of them, obviously, than 3 if you make 1 go backwards.
All right, so you just soul burst them back out of sight there, but you're saying you should have pushed them forward?
No, so I would have done that, but instead on my next turn, I'll explain it on my next turn.
Yeah.
Because Ridvan goes for my bait here, which in theory was a good plan.
So you left the Reapers out on purpose?
No, the Wave Serpent.
Oh, sorry, that Wave Serpent.
No, the Reapers out on top because they got vected, so they weren't able to.
You vected their going back in thing.
Oh yes, very much.
Which you obviously know he's going to do that. I wasn't hoping they'd live or anything, but I was hoping I would get a little bit more out of them.
Yeah, but I think you got to give Skari a bit of credit. You know, like a lot of Dark Eldar players that I've played anyway, they'll just vect the first stratagem that comes along, right? They don't think 3 phases ahead of time necessarily.
Now that move right there that I just made, moving that Razor Wing in the back, that was to snipe the Quicken character.
Okay, so I can't really see, but there's a dude down there.
Yeah, he's behind. He's in between the Wave Serpent and the Dark Reapers.
Okay. Nice move.
And that was the chess clock. I'm pretty sure without the time bearing on Tim, he would have just like taken more time and noticed it.
So you did go for that Wave Serpent bait. Did you know
I did,
it as bait?
But I moved. Or? Oh, I knew it was bait, but I knew that if I didn't go for it, then I was going to be hemmed in like a little bubble, and his spears are just going to kill everything around my bubble all game. So I basically moved a unit of Talos to try and deal with that serpent, and then moved and ran the rest of my army up, knowing that I was going to isolate a unit, but I knew that he was only going to be able to kill 1 unit, and then the rest of my army would have an opening to get into his meat and potatoes, which were all the characters in the backfield.
Okay, so I think you killed the Quicken dude.
Yeah.
What did you kill the Dark Razor with? Just the Ravagers, or?
The Ravagers just nuke them.
Yeah.
I think there was 1 guy left alive.
And I made my morale.
Yeah, you did.
Roll the 1.
And in the meantime, I deep struck my other raider in the other backfield, and I essentially started zoning out that other side of the board to force his second unit of spears
to come in
near my big blob.
Yeah. Okay, so you're probably going to take this wave serpent out.
No, it survived with one wound left.
Oh, survives. Okay.
Two.
Yeah, with one wound left.
Which is
but I did
probably
kill
fine.
a unit of rangers on this turn, I believe, as well.
Okay. So what's your plan now, Tim?
So my plan was to kill that unit of Talos, and then go to Ridvan's left corner in the video.
Okay.
To threaten that objective and basically make it like a corner, more or less hammer and anvil, I guess, with the one unit holding the objective on the right. But the plan didn't exactly work.
Yeah, you tried to jink the Talos, and jink didn't go off. And then that big unit of Guardians that you deep struck in that corner as well didn't kill all the racks.
Yep, that was... It would have been... I think you only got kill one that turn. I don't think you actually killed any Rangers.
Oh yeah, I think there might have just been like 3 Rangers left behind that building. Yeah, because then the other little 5-man unit of racks in that raider disembarked and then charged them the next turn.
Yeah, so Tim, you dropped a big unit of Guardians just in that top left corner there, right?
Correct. So my thought here was, if I kill the Talos, which in theory should happen if I get all my powers off, I would get hold more and kill more. But didn't work out, and I think I got every power off. I doomed them. I protected myself. I enhanced myself. I got reroll ones. I doomed them, but I did not get Jinx off, which ended up being the difference.
Jinx is the -1 save, right?
Yeah, makes their invulnerable save go to a 5-up.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's a very big deal. Yeah,
that's a big deal. I'm Custodes. I know that feeling when my 4-up goes to a 5-up. Yeah. But you still, so you did manage to kill those guys.
Well, he shot a lot, then he essentially charged them in, and I think one Talos at the end of that combat was left with, I think, 4 wounds left or 3 wounds left or something.
Yeah, but there were what, 6 wounds each, right?
7.
7, so that's 21 wounds to go through.
21 wounds, yeah.
A toughness 7, yeah.
Yeah, that's if the 4-up invuln, that's a
and
lot.
a 6-up feel no pain too.
Yeah,
it adds up when you have that 6-up. Yeah,
I used the Eldar strat for exploding 6s, so every 6 triggers an extra attack, and because I was enhanced, it was doing it on 5s and 6s.
Nice.
And I was hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, and rerolling wounds. So it should have been quite a bit of damage,
but it wasn't.
But it wasn't enough.
It just wasn't enough, and so that also prevented Tim's spears from soul bursting.
Yeah,
because nothing died around them, which meant they were stuck there.
I don't know what else in the game could have survived that, man.
Talos survived that.
Yeah, Talos.
Yeah, not much else does.
No, not at all. Now, if they would have been Jink, they were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they pile in there, and of course they can't soul burst because nothing died, and they just withstood a lot. And then are you hitting back here and you kill a bunch of spears probably?
Yeah, no, I killed I think 1 or 2. Yeah, nothing crazy. And then in my turn, I had to kill the screen that he'd put up. Essentially, he put up a screen, and so here I am moving my racks off to the one flank. I'm essentially zoning that whole right side of the board off because turn 3, I know his spears have to come in. I fell back with the one Talos to put some pressure on. I think that Talos lived till almost the end of the game too.
Yeah,
and then I essentially just committed to killing those spears. So I moved my Ravagers up. I moved I just committed to killing that spear unit. So I had to just basically target it with everything. Meanwhile, the Grotesque went into the Guardian unit, and I think I had some characters and whatnot go in there as well. So at this point, it was me putting a lot of pressure, zoning out the side of the board, moving the Ravagers into, spreading the Ravagers out a bit so that, trying not to give them all up if Tim's next unit of spears got loose. And then kind of blocking that big unit of Guardians in the backfield
so I just want to
with a charge.
point out to the viewers now that even though he doesn't have huge hordes of bodies, Skari has managed to zone out almost half of the board just with good measurement and placement of individual models. You know, like Tim has nowhere to land on that whole upper right half of the board. You know, I just wanted to point that out to people that you don't need hordes to screen out.
Yeah, no, it's that being able, like having 9 inches from each model makes huge bubbles of control.
Yep.
And it's very, very easy to block it with relatively few models.
Yep. So here you're probably
doing some shooting and stuff.
Spears. Yeah.
And then I'm basically shooting. I'm trying to kill the rangers because I know that I have to try and get more objectives and whatnot. So I'm putting pressure on that side of the board. And then all my shooting went into the spears. And then I believe I killed them with the last bit of shooting. And then I was able to charge.
No, you charged.
Did I get in with the
talos?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then I basically charged everything else into the guardians and just mopped up the guardians as well.
Yeah, because I movement blocked his grotesques with just my 10-man guardian unit.
Yeah.
Buys me a turn. It doesn't really work for talos because I can just jump over
they just
it.
Jump over, yeah.
So there, I charged the last unit of the rangers in that corner, and effectively with a charge from that raider onto that objective and the racks from that corner, that extra movement let me block off that entire section of the board.
Yep.
While using the talos and the ravagers as more like bubbles of control, and then using the grotesque charge and then moving them up to essentially only give Tim a corner. Like basically a Vanguard strike deployment size area to put his put his spears in. Yeah,
you've literally controlling like 60% of the board now. I like that Raider charge into the Rangers there. Give yourself some extra movement and board denial. Okay, so the Talos. What are the Talos doing now?
So these are the grotesques. Yeah.
Okay, grotesque.
Yeah, and then the grotesques moved up. Yeah, and they just pile up or whatever. And then I kept my characters in centralized positions, in the buildings, essentially, to stop the spears from getting them on the ground floor because they can't go into buildings as well. And I just made sure I kept my Archon in the middle of a building as well.
Are you feeling pretty comfortable at this stage, Skari?
At this stage, I knew that it was mine to fuck up, if that makes any sense. Sorry, pardon my French. If I would have gotten cocky and confident, I would have lost the game. There was still a lot of points in the swing, and not this turn because I believe this is your turn 3.
Yeah, here come the spears.
I was still very much in the game at this point.
Exactly.
So, what was your plan here, Tim?
So I deep struck the spears in my deployment zone, and I was honestly hoping just to whittle down the grotesques. I was going to charge them the lone grotesque and lone talos and the unit of grotesques with the wave serpent because they probably won't kill it. They usually don't. And just shoot everything I have at the grotesques, try to whittle them down, and then next turn hope my spears live, which with Protect and Fortune, they shouldn't die just shooting, in theory. 3 up pinball, 5 up Feel No Pain. I think he ended up killing 3 of them in shooting. That's next turn. But then go straight up the table with them and kill all 3 Ravagers. And then Soul Burst to the right to those racks, which is his
special objective, his cargo, yeah. Yeah,
his special objective. And then basically just trade.
Yeah, do an objective trade, and that was a very solid plan. Here, Tim's thinking, a turn and a half ahead, right?
Yeah.
And shooting at the grotesques, I believe, wasn't as effective as it could have been. I think he only killed 2.5 or something.
It's like the story of the game for you, Tim.
Yeah.
Well, any
they're
toughness 6
nails.
and toughness 6, toughness 5. They're very, very, very tough.
Yeah. It's amazing we don't see more of them, but we might now.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, people have been just on about the Cabals and stuff, but the Coven, very tough.
Everyone's on the grotesques, but I think the Talos are the secret sauce.
Yeah, Talos. I think a combination is more powerful.
Both. Why not have both?
Yeah.
All right, so you get your guys onto that objective there.
Yep.
And you managed just whittling those grotesques down. You make your
So like I was saying, in my head, by doing that move to the right-hand corner, that would have given me hold more and the bonus.
Yeah.
Because I would be holding 3, 2 as 1.
Yeah.
Because I hold the top left.
And this is what? This is turn 3?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I killed 3 grotesques. I forget.
Yeah, it looks like you killed 3 of them. There's 4 left. 4
Yeah.
left in the table sitting there.
There's 4 left, so you killed 2.
2. Yeah, then I charged them with the Wave Serpent, and they failed to kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Wave Serpents are very tough, so I wasn't able to kill it.
All right, clock goes back over. It's fairly even on time now, maybe a 7-minute difference.
Yeah, I believe at this. So I believe that at one point I had to just take a time to go to the restroom and put water on my face, and kind of just take a deep breath and be like, just deep breaths and play like you're losing the game. And I just made sure that I didn't overcommit, and I just tried to continue to play smart, and play like I was going to lose.
So you move that raider, and it's because your racks are coming to take its place, basically, and probably take these ranges out on the bottom.
Yeah,
right there.
it was more. Yeah, it was just kind of like to bring some more disintegrator cannons to bear.
Yeah.
Because I needed to try and shoot as much as I could at the spears.
This turn, you really want to kill the spears, or those 3 tailors sitting there? Those are your tailors.
Yeah, those are my tailors. So the spears, I had to
Yeah,
try
you
kill the spears, and then with my one tailors that was free, I decided to go and start hunting a couple of characters.
Yeah.
And I kind of started sending some of my characters into his characters. I knew I wasn't really going to do much else. So, but with the shooting, I only killed about 3 spears, and at that point, I knew that the game was in the balance, and it could have flipped on me. And I was worried when I didn't kill enough spears, because they were just bouncing everything off with that invulnerable save.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To the casual observer, it looks like Tim's really on the ropes, but like an almost full unit of spears can do a lot of work still.
Yeah,
with psychic support.
It'll eliminate, especially if they're Ynnari, because they basically act like 2 units of spears.
Yeah, that's right.
So they are very, very, very nasty still.
Like, I could see somebody in your position right now, Skari, without as much experience playing Ynnari, thinking that this game is in the bag, right? And
then losing by a couple of points.
Yeah. Not being super precise on their movements, or leaving gaps and things like that.
So at this point, I really wish I would have added up the score. Because Ridvan it was a very close game. Because neither of us were really getting kill more or hold more. We were both holding 2 objectives most of the game. And I think at this point, Ridvan was only 4 points or 5 points ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely a tight game.
And if I would have added that up, I wouldn't have been as greedy this turn. I take my 4 or 5 spears that are left, and I try to kill both the Flyer and the Ravager at once, rather than just killing one and soul bursting and killing the other, which would have allowed my Guardians then to shoot at the other Ravager, hopefully killing it. So that would have... Oh, sorry, Ridvan, you were going to say something.
No, that's okay. It's just that combat there. My 3-man unit of Talos, the plan was to charge this Wave Serpent and then roll high enough that I could pile into the spears and stop them from charging unless they soul bursted into something.
Yeah.
And it was like an inch shy of being able to do that. Mm-hmm. So that was like I killed the Wave Serpent, but it just meant that I wasn't able to tie up the spears.
And that Talos on the left failed a little charge?
No, he went into a character and murdered it with chain flails.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I missed that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's still those grotesques sitting in the middle there.
Yeah,
there sure are.
All right, so this
is. I think we're just rolling. I think it was just a couple of characters. I think I killed like 2 Spirit Seers in the combat phase, and then the Wave Serpent, and then charged into the Guardians there to lock them up in combat again.
All right, so here we go. Tim's moving up.
And I think this was the game moment right here.
Because you kind of abandoned your back now.
Correct.
Your backfill is done.
So like I said, if I would have added up the score at this point, I could have actually played for the win instead of going for blood, more or less.
So just repeat what you should have done.
So these 5 spears in the center charge both the Ravager and the plane. They did that successfully, but I tried to kill both at once instead of putting all of my attacks on one and then soul bursting and attacking the other. Why I did this, I don't know. But if I would have done that, I would have probably definitely killed both, which would have then allowed my Guardians, which I strung out within 7 of the Ravager, to shoot the other Ravager and probably do a fair bit of damage, but that would have been kill more and 2 big game hunter points for me. Yeah,
because the Guardians on the left could have soul bursted off of the second death by the Shining Spears.
Correct.
Correct. Man, playing Ynnari is tricky, that's for sure.
It's very unforgiving.
Yeah. You shorten an inch and your whole plane goes to pot. Okay, so you got a bit greedy here. You tried to kill both of these in one combat, and you failed to kill them both, I guess.
I think they both survived with 1 or 2 wounds or something.
Yeah, that's the ultimate...
And at that point, that was pretty much game, meaning I had all 3 Ravagers left to take out that unit of spears in my turn.
Yeah, and then it's over, because Tim's backfield is kind of screwed right now.
Yeah, completely.
And that was Skari's precious objective, right? That you need to get? The one at the bottom left?
Yeah,
correct.
So then in that turn, I got hold more, killed more. I got the bonus for the objective as well, and I got my last recon point. It was like it just snowballed that turn.
Yep.
And I believe this was me just kind of moving some stuff around.
Yeah, I was just adding up the score, seeing what I could do. I think at the while you were playing your turn, I think I said I can get 4 points this turn, but you win.
Yeah, I think we added it all up, and we're like, yeah, this can probably happen. This can probably happen. And at that point, this was turn 5.
This was turn 5, yeah.
Yeah, so it was.
But look how much time we have left.
Yeah,
I know. We could have totally. Yeah, we could have totally. We had 40 minutes left on the clock. We played the whole game in under an hour.
So what do you guys think about the clock?
No, so in an hour and a half.
What do you guys think about the chess clock thing in this game specifically, but also kind of throughout the tournament? Did you guys have issues with it, or?
All my games finished except the game with Josh Death, but it didn't really need to finish because everything happened in the first 3 turns that had to happen.
So I played Josh on stream with your advice to use the clock. And I didn't actually realize it, but I tabled him on turn 6, and I only had 4 minutes left. I did not realize it, but I wasn't. The clock didn't stress me at all because I figured he would be the one playing slow. We were about even though. I played round 5 against my friend Conrad with a clock because when he has to think, he plays slow, and I just wanted it. But once again, I didn't stress about it because I knew I would play fast enough. And in this game, I think it threw both of us just completely off.
It threw you guys off.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game, it definitely threw me off. But I find that towards the later part of the game, when I kind of noticed that we were both kind of using the same amount of time, it wasn't I wasn't too stressed about it coming into turn 3 or 4. I was a lot more relaxed.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're, into 5, now? Possibly
turn
6?
6, I think. Now.
6. Yeah. Okay, so there's only 2 spears left.
Yeah, this is top of 5. Or 6, sorry.
Yeah, so those racks are coming in. 1 Ravager died somewhere. Nope, 3 Ravagers still alive.
No,
the Ravagers were all alive at the end of the game.
Ivrain just bought the farm, and yeah, that's just 2 spears left, basically.
Yeah, I think on my turn, I just tried to get points, obviously. Those 2 spears killed the 1 Ravager that lived all game with 1 wound. And then I think I tried to kill another one and didn't. But it got me... Yeah, or one spear killed the 1 Ravager with 1 wound left. But that got me kill 1, last laugh, line breaker. So it was actually a fairly big deal. But I ended the game with 1 spear and 16 guardians left.
Nice.
Yeah, Ridvan messed me up.
Yeah, well, but it's funny how it was just that close. You know, like it just comes to show that no matter how grim it all looks, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to 1 or 2 key things that make the whole difference.
Yeah. What was the final score?
I believe it was 20. No, it was 21. 20. Was it 29-20?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was very close. There was only an 8 or 9 point difference.
Cool.
But like I said, those turns where I was failing to kill things were what gave him that lead.
Yeah, kind of sets you back and then gives him the opportunity to strike back, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
And then
you're just adding
and that
up
was
here.
pretty much
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, all in all, it was one of the most entertaining last round games I've had at an event. And it was just simply because the game itself was so relaxed and was just, it was like a gentleman's agreement of we were going to play really hard, but it was we played technically and we played to the rules, and we both kind of knew.
We didn't have to go to the top table at all, like for any
reason. No, there was no disputes. But that's because Ridvan and I are friends.
Yeah,
we've been playing each other for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just very nice to be able to play against a friend, you know, at a high stakes like competitive event, and just be able to play the game knowing that you're going to play hard, but you're going to play to the game, you know, and like it's a gentleman's game.
Yeah, it's give and take.
Yep. Okay, well, that was actually great to go over that game like that. I think that gives people a real insight into some advanced tactical play and tactical thinking that you don't get just from watching people play necessarily. So thank you very much, guys, for doing this and for joining me, and congratulations, Skari and Tim, on both your performances.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so hopefully Skari will come back next year to defend, and Tim will be out for blood again next year.
Of course.
Ah, the dark kin.
Okay, and I hope everybody enjoyed watching that, and subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.